Vladdy Daddy is in the house, baby. Let's go.
What up? What up?
This is a damn good day when the Vlad is in the building, man. What's good, brother?
Life's good, man. Everything's good.
It is good, and everything you've been working on is so spectacular. I'm truly impressed with you as an individual, your ability to build this, massive organization, which is Anopoly, your ability to navigate all of the challenges that so many people have tried to do in the past and so many have failed, and to do it with a smile, still having time to do the things you like. I'm excited to jump into today's convo, bro.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
But before we jump into it, we're going to talk about Amazon Alexa. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, we were talking about this before we started recording. And I don't know, like, it's constant listening to you. And I'm a guy, I like my privacy, right? I like to go out and have fun, but also, like, I like to have my, sacred time. And I don't want anything listening to me. And I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. They were talking about this. It never stops. And if somebody wants that information, they can get it. And it doesn't have to be the government. It could be someone else. It could be a private organization. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they now have these I just saw Meta just teamed up with Ray-Ban.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now they're going to have the gangster Ray-Bans with the AI attached.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, that's a new level.
I think that's going to be pretty cool.
I think it's going to be cool.
Like,
too.
especially if you have the option to shut it off and put it away, I think that's really cool.
The coolest thing with the Alexa that I love is I love LEDs and lights. So every single thing in this house is hooked up to like an LED. So I could say, Alexa, turn dining room lights blue. And she just rips
nice.
That. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But without the LED thing, I probably wouldn't like it as much. But I agree. It's definitely extremely sketchy. And then there's the argument, well, if I'm not doing anything bad, just smoking weed and, trying to get laid, then, Amazon's not going to be creeping up on me.
Yeah, you never know, man. Anybody out there has completely different motives. Again, it's not about you doing anything bad at all.
100%.
That's just my take on
new
it.
times, because we were just talking about the OG Halo when we first, 20 plus years ago, when we were playing Halo, or you're dialing up and playing games like StarCraft or World of Warcraft. And to think about where that's at now, and we live in an age where when we're 10 years old, we're doing that, and now we're 30 plus, or how old are you?
What, 29 now?
You're 29, right? You're getting to that age where you get to experience the coolest evolution of life.
Right.
We get to experience all of the most badass.
Those games we're literally going to be able to play in our glasses now. That's going to be insane.
Imagine being 60 plus and maybe you're not as active as you used to be, but you can just throw that on and you just get to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we got Brian Johnson teaching us how to live forever. You see that guy?
Yeah. That's why I got into peptides. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's the one that got you into it.
It's just a lot. I've done a lot of research, and I never wanted to do steroids because I didn't want to mess my body up, because I'm still young and I got my body produces everything. I did a bunch of blood work, a bunch of different tests, but peptides are they just tell your body to produce more of something, whatever that specific thing is.
Can you explain what peptides are, or how you inject them?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends. So when you go to the doctor will prescribe you depending on your goals or if you have any issues. And then some of them go into your fat, so you just literally pinch your belly fat and just inject in your belly fat. And some of them you go into the muscle. Most of them are just go into fat. It's very small needle. It's painless. You just do it once a day, or some of them you do every 3 days or once a week. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because the thing with
fix a lot of things.
The thing with testosterone, there's so much dudes out there that are.
Miami's full of it, man.
It's crazy.
Everyone's on test.
I didn't understand it until it's now if you look at a guy that's a certain size, you can almost assume he's on testosterone.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the issue is apparently if you start taking it too young, your body stops producing it later on.
You start taking it anytime, your body because it's a synthetic testosterone, so your body's like, oh, we don't need to make this anymore. So what a peptide does, I'm taking one that naturally will boost it.
Yeah.
But it's telling my body, hey, do more of this. It's not giving my body something that's foreign and telling my body to stop producing.
Did you get your testosterone checked?
Yeah.
What were your levels at?
I was at 600.
Nice.
So I don't know. It's basically average for my age, but it can always be higher, right?
Right.
But as long as you do it the right way, eat the right foods. I'm already eating the right foods, have a good diet. All my levels are fine. So getting some peptides is a little boost, basically.
Definitely. Are you doing anything else? Are you doing that, sauna, ice bath?
No.
Because I see you in the gym all the time.
Nope. I just lift weights, eat food, and take a hot shower.
I think you should get into it. I think you should get into the ice bath.
I
You got
I
that
have mixed
Russian
feelings
vibe too.
about it. I mean, like, yeah. So I'll go like rarely I'll go in the sauna, and then I'll go into the cold plunge, which is cool. Not that big of a fan of it, to be honest.
Is it because everyone else is jumping into it, or just cold exposure in general?
I don't like cold water.
Yeah, I hate cold water so much. I have to force myself to do it every time.
It's like
I love hot tubs, man.
I grew up in Ukraine, right? For the first 8 years of my life I spent in Ukraine. I didn't always have hot water. I didn't always have clean water either. So like when people are saying, "Hey, let's go camping," or "Let's go, an ice bath," I'm like, I had to do that when I was younger. I don't want to go through that. You know what I mean?
Ukraine?
Kharkov. Yeah. But it's just like, I didn't grow up. I grew up in a family that I was the only one that ate meat in my family because meat was so expensive. And my family prioritized the young kid to make sure he gets all the nutrients. And then my parents basically would just eat vegetables.
Was it just you? You have siblings?
No, it was just me, only child. So I grew up with my grandfather, grandmother, and my mother.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then when did you come to the U.S.?
And I was 8 years old.
What was that opportunity? Like, how did that transpire?
I mean, dude, it was crazy. Like, I've never seen a black person until I came to the United States. It was a culture shock. Never seen a gay person either. So like I had to get accustomed to a lot of different cultures. I had to get accustomed to different lifestyles, right? Completely different language, right? So I didn't speak any English. I remember I landed in JFK, and I get out of the plane, and there's a big black security guard.
You can remember this at 8, like vividly?
I remember my 2nd-year-old birthday. I remember it the day my mom left my dad.
You got great memory.
Which is like, I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but I could tell you like what I did on my 2nd birthday.
So you have like deep-rooted memory,
yeah,
but not short-term.
It's weird.
Wow.
It's really weird.
That's so cool.
I remember my first day of school, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Almost like a photographic memory, or is
I remember like it's not bits and pieces, just that specific moment.
So you're 8 years old and you get off the plane.
Yeah, I get off the plane and I see this big black security guard. He gives me a high five, and I get so scared because I've never seen a black person before. Like, it was only on TV, so I'm like, and he's big, and I'm like, holy shit. And people in America are much bigger than most of the world, and I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. I got scared, but then I realized it's a high five. I knew what a high five was. I'm like, oh, he's friendly, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it was a complete culture shock coming here, but after a few years, I got,
You just went to the normal schools, started learning.
Yeah, exactly. I went. I mean, majority of the time. So I first lived in North Carolina, Charlotte for like 2 months. Then moved to Florida, Orlando, and Sanford, and then moved to Syracuse, New York. Lived in a complete ghetto. Yep.
Me and Sky from Albany, New York.
Yeah, close. Yeah, very close. Lived in the ghetto in Syracuse. Went to a school. I mean, I literally started carrying a pocket knife to school when I was in sixth grade. Just because of the conditions I had to walk through. I walked to school every day. So all those things, which is really cool, that shaped me to who I am today. All the struggles I went through, like I appreciate. My mom always talks to me. She's like, I'm so sorry about what I put you through when you were younger. I'm like, don't be. Like, it made me. Like,
yeah.
My mom's fully taken care of. Like,
she went from Charlotte to Sanford, then
Charlotte. It was from Charlotte to Orlando to Sanford to Syracuse.
So like 4 big moves before you're 16.
Yeah, way before.
Not counting the one from Ukraine.
Yeah, and then at 12, I think I was either at 12 or 14, moved to Fort Peters, Florida, then Port St. Lucie, Florida, and then stayed there up until I was like 26 or 27. Then I moved to Miami.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of moves, and there was a lot of moves in between there.
Do you love Florida, or
I love Florida, love it. I think
it's tough to go from like Florida to have to leave to go to Syracuse.
Honestly, I wasn't a big fan of the heat when I was younger.
Right.
I wasn't a big fan of the beach. I didn't understand why until I learned what girls were.
Yeah.
So I was younger. I didn't understand. I was upset because I was like 8 or 9. I asked my mom, I was like, hey, if there's no snow in Florida, does Santa Claus come?
Fun fact, I was the last person in my friend group to find out Santa wasn't real.
I think I was too. I didn't want to like stop believing.
I didn't either. I figured it out one day when all the notes were always in capital letters, and my dad only knows how to write in capital letters. So I was like, oh, mother, damn it.
I think I figured it out when I had to give my parents gifts. I'm like, damn it. There's no
Well,
Santa.
there's all these things that I scroll sometimes on Reels and stuff, and I see like all this like I don't know why parenting advice because I don't have children, but my news feed's infested with them, and they're all about like I'm never gonna tell my kid that the tooth fairy's not real, Santa's not real, and I think about it like if I have children, I would love to do that. Like,
At least you're the one that's doing that, not their friends, right?
right?
Yeah.
You know, it's fun to believe, man.
Yeah.
You got to believe, and I think there's a part that if you can believe in things like that, you can maybe believe almost in more crazy things like building the largest Amazon automation company in potentially the U.S. right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy where it's came to. It started with just like a marketing company. I would just sell the service for other companies, which went very well. But I realized that, and this comes across to a lot of industries, most people don't know what they're doing, or they just don't want to be good at it. And it was you won't believe how, like, you look at people like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or anyone that's super successful, you realize they don't work that much harder than you. They're not that much smarter than you. Most of the time, they are at the same level. Like, yeah, maybe Elon Musk is a different case. Like, he may be a genius. I don't know him personally. But most people just don't try. And when I realized, okay, let me take over and not just do the marketing, do the back end, do the fulfillment, actually build the whole entire system out, it wasn't as difficult as people would assume it is. It just takes time and patience and lots of failure.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot just working in tech startups and companies. When you get a salary from a big company, it's almost like everybody just tries to do the bare minimum to get that salary.
Yeah.
And it's really like soul sucking.
And it's not even that. It's most business owners are like that too. Once they start making a little bit of money, they're comfortable.
So true.
And if you're motivated by money, like, yeah, money motivated me before I had money. But once you have money, it's like, all right, you just want to win.
Yeah.
You know, like Alex Ramosi talks about it a lot. Like, I just want to fucking win.
Yeah, but it's soul sucking when you're in that environment around people that aren't giving it all. And I think a lot of sort of entrepreneurs are born from the scenario that they're working for, let's say a 10-person company, and they have a great idea and they want to initiate that great idea, but everyone around them just is weighing them down and they just can't break through, and they're always just trying to like make their thing stand out, and eventually they just had enough. Because building a business and starting a company and being an entrepreneur, we just had Peter Taunton here, super amazing entrepreneur. He founded Snap Fitness, scaled to 6,000 locations around the world. Wow. Now Nautical Bowls is over at 56 locations, started at 2 when he joined. He's just an absolute amazing human. And he was just talking that so many people call themselves entrepreneurs, but to call yourself an entrepreneur is to figure out stuff, being able to sail the ship when times are rough, not when times are good.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what it was actually a few weeks ago when I was getting my blood work done. One of the tests is they measure some kind of protein in your body that deals with stress. And doctors like, you handle the stress very well. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm actually very impressed with myself. Like, we try to always impress other people. I'm trying to just impress myself, see what I can do from me. And I'm very impressed at how well I was able to develop handling stress. So a lot of that's what makes people fold. Everything that can go wrong typically does at some point, right? Like everything you can think of. But as long as you know that you can get out of it, that's your will to get out of it and be the solution provider, that's what it takes.
And it's what leadership's all about. Because, Peter was also saying that even if you're screaming inside as the leader, you got to wear a straight face.
Leaders don't. I literally, when I first formed the company and my first set of employees, I picked out the leaders, had a separate meeting with them. I'm like, guys, have you ever seen me had a bad day? And they're like, no. I'm like, you think I don't have any bad days? They're like, we don't know, sir. You're always good. I'm like, you're leaders now. You don't have bad days. It's a damn good day every day.
It's a damn good day.
Yeah. You don't have bad days as a leader because everything trickles down from the top. So if you're having a bad day, your company, your team's going to have a bad day. You got to suck it up and figure out how to be good.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, you can't wear that emotion on your face.
Yeah. Companies rise and fall in leadership, as John Maxwell says.
Have you had any specific advisors or mentors where you can kind of have that therapy session?
I've hired a few different people. I've never really had any success from hiring people for like mentorship specifically. I just done a lot of personal development, listening to people like Jim Rohn or Tony Robbins. There's so many good names. I just like not on top
Were
of
you
my
ever
head
in
right
network
now.
marketing?
Yes,
What
yes, I
company?
was. I was in. It started off with wealth generators and switched over to Kuvera.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I also got my start there.
Yeah, I
Back
think
when
network marketing is probably the best place for anyone that's like 18 to 21 to start,
for sure.
because it teaches you literally everything. I learned marketing, sales, people skills,
Yeah.
everything through network marketing.
Yeah, and crazy shit happens in MLM.
Yeah.
Like, it's the wild, wild west. I mean, when I think about all the times I've pitched the opportunity in front of like the most sketchy scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
but you're just so excited that like everyone's gonna get rich and everyone's gonna be happy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then it almost seems like a blur, like looking back. But when you're like caught in the sauce and you believe, that's what's so exciting about network marketing. It's the gift of entrepreneurship. It's the gateway drug.
Yes.
You know, you get a hit, you get a taste.
Yep.
And like, how things go south in MLMs all the time. Just
Yeah.
like, because
Just like every business, really.
and you know what, it's interesting because like, it's so easy to get into MLM. It's so easy to get out.
Yeah.
It's very hard to build an opoly. It's hard to get out of an opoly because you put your heart and soul into something. And why would you? When you build a lot and you put your own money into something, you freaking fight for your life. But in MLM,
Literally,
they
yeah.
have such little skin in the game that people come and go so much. It's a roller coaster. But I think that teaches you a lot about people and
Absolutely.
about understanding, like, when times are good, people stop working. And I was guilty of that too. I remember I hit the top rank in the company and I just like stopped working.
Mm-hmm. That you hear that all the time. My upline during that time would actually talk about that all the time. Is like the reason why he keeps leveling up is he doesn't look at it like it's cool to see the number go up in his bank account, but like that's not what motivates him. All right, and that's kind of like what I learned too. And I mean, when I first cleared my $100,000 month and did it consistently, I'm like, yeah, I got a little bit of lazy, and that taught me a lot. What happens when you take your foot off the gas, right? Happens to all of us.
But you're a young guy.
Yeah, we got time, and the best part is look, no matter what you do in life, you're gonna die. Whether you do good, bad, doesn't matter. It's all going to end. To me, that's beautiful because I can put everything into it and just say I did everything I could to have the best life I could have had. Or if I want to, I could be like, fuck everything. It doesn't matter. So it depends on how you look at life. And my motivation is like, I know it's going to end, so let me just do everything I can. Because if I knew I was going to live forever, I probably wouldn't work as hard.
Yeah, when I think of like life's biggest motivator, it's that day when you're an old man or an old woman and you're sitting in the bed and you're looking back at your life and thinking to yourself, and some homie rolls up, call it God, call it Jesus, call it, Gandhi, whoever it is. He comes up to you and he says, "Hey, check out this video." And it's a video of the person you could have been if you never were too scared to go say hi to that person or give the girl your number or to make that video and start your business or to buy an Monopoly store with Vlad. Who would that person be? And like, that shit just drives me up a wall because it's so scary, because it's like we as people naturally are just so caught up in our emotions. And
the biggest thing for people is fear. And the reason why I brought that up, it's like it's all gonna end no matter what, is it doesn't matter what you're afraid of. Like, your biggest fuck up, it's gonna go away, and nobody's gonna remember it either. No, like, look at the Rothschilds. Do you even know who they are? They have massive families. They're worth trillions, but do you even know who any of them are? No.
That's a great point.
Like, yeah, they made trillions of dollars, but their family's so big, I'm sure they're not all that well. You know what I mean?
People don't even remember 5 days later. Many scenarios.
Yeah,
like,
Queen Elizabeth died. Who gives a fuck? Really? Seriously. Like, I mean, yeah, England cared for a little bit, but, like, no one's talking about it now. Right? And she was in power for, 60, 70 years, something like that?
Yeah, that's fascinating how situations come and rise so fast in today's day and age.
Yeah.
And I think it's because you go to your news app and you just see 800 crazy things that are happening that we're almost desensitized to like crazy shit.
Yeah.
So in your life, it's interesting. So basically it sounds like when you're taking on all this risk, because a lot of people, when they look at you, they see this guy that has, employees around the world, automations around the world. You've helped countless numbers of people set up their own online stores. You're taking large sums of money from people, promising returns, and you're doing it consistently. You're expanding, you're growing.
Mm-hmm.
They look at you and they say, holy shit, how is this guy doing all this? And it sounds like deep down, you're doing it not for anyone else. You're doing it for you. And you're living up to your potential.
Yeah, I just want to win. Like, well, it's not just for me, because if it was for me, I would have quit a long time ago. And there's a point in time in my business where literally I've been screwed over so many times in this business. It's insane. Different partnerships, people leaving, people completely dropping me, everything. The only thing that motivated me at that point is like, shit, I have a lot of clients that believed in me. And two, I have a lot of people relying on me, whether it's employees, whether it's my mother. I've been taking care of my mother for the past 4 years. And
I see that.
No, like I don't even post about that. Like, yeah, everyone looks at me, oh, cool Lambo, nice yacht, whatever. Like, guys, before I got any of that, I bought my mom a house.
You post about her a decent amount too on Insta. Like I see when you guys are going out and getting dinner.
Yeah,
that must be so pure. Like to be able to help your mom.
It's one of the best feelings.
She's a cool woman. I met her at the time at your house.
Oh yeah. She came over.
Nice.
Yeah. Like I've been taking that. That was my number one thing. I took care of my mom. I bought her a house and a car before I got anything nice for myself.
What did that feel like?
There's no better feeling, knowing that like I'm able to take care of my mother. Like that's all I have. I don't really have a father. He was never in the picture, so I don't really care about him. But just being able to take care of her, because she sacrificed her whole life bringing me here and giving me an opportunity. So she's probably the best investor I ever met in my life, other than Jeff Bezos' ex-wife.
Yeah, amen. Amen to that. What does she think of you with all of this?
I don't think she understands how to comprehend me. She just like, but once I got my first job, she was never able, like she would try to tell me or give me advice.
Yeah.
But that's when I started saying like, look, I'm my own person and I'm going to do what I need to do. I dropped out of college, all of that kind of stuff.
What year?
I don't remember what year. I think I was 20 years old or something like that. Maybe like 9 years ago, whatever. I dropped out to actually become a boxer. That was my passion in the beginning. And I didn't have a plan. I wasn't into entrepreneurship then. I just wanted to fight. I just wanted to win. Right. And the boxing didn't work out. But I took that same mentality to wanting to win and put it into entrepreneurship.
Was that boxing kind of, do you think that stemmed a little bit from like the craziness back in Syracuse and you just always trying to like,
what stemmed boxing is I remember when I was growing up, me and my grandfather watched boxing fights all the time.
Yeah.
I wasn't even that into it. I just remember like how cool it would like to just see a person at their top ability perform and fight, and how it made everyone around that's watching feel them. I'm like, shit, like I could be entertaining, I could make money, and I love the sport. So that's kind of like that. One day I was literally sitting at the kitchen counter and I said, okay.
You have that Rocky moment.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm going to do it. That's what I'm going to do. I put everything into it. I was decent. I wasn't the best, cause I only did it for a few years, but
you had like professional bouts.
I didn't have any professional. I was amateur. So, I did go, open and amateur, and I also did do international fights as well.
Is that adrenaline rush crazy?
So that's the number one thing when I trained, I try to get my adrenaline completely out of it. But yes, in the first few fights, it hurts you, honestly, because the adrenaline takes up so much energy, and you got to go to multiple rounds, and adrenaline's not going to be there, and you'll be tired. So you got to really control your adrenaline. Yeah. You want to be as calm. I would listen to jazz before I'd go in the ring because I wanted to be so calm.
That probably serves you very well in work. You watch UFC?
Honestly, I don't watch any kind of sports.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, like I'll watch McGregor. When I'll watch.
I like UFC. That's the only sport I really watch religiously. This guy's a huge Giants fan, so I said I was going to be a Giants fan for the season, but that investment's turned out terribly. But UFC is amazing because I love UFC because no matter what, it's like the most respected sport amongst all the sports.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're gonna put your life and body on the line,
mm-hmm.
like you could literally die out there. I guess you could technically do that in football and rugby, but it's different. And but I know how you feel about Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Well, I mean that's like when it comes to real life, right? Like Brazilian jiu-jitsu is probably not the best fighting style, just because in real life when you get into a fight, you don't know what the person has in them, you don't know who's with them, any of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I carry everywhere I go.
Really?
Just because I hope I never have to use it ever in my life. But
Yeah.
it's there.
Skywatch is like, what's that thing? Self-defense channel?
Active self-protection.
Do you ever see those ones? Active self-protection, those videos?
No, I haven't seen any. No.
Yeah. It's basically like this guy that it teaches you how to like.
Yeah, he breaks down interactions out in the world, all over the world, of knives, guns, robberies, fist fights that turn into guns, and just they analyze it top to bottom if there was any way to escape it, if there was no way to escape it, but just like a deep look into
Sounds
it all.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that
gives you
is interesting.
Kind of like
I love that kind of stuff because like I mean like I love guns. One of my favorite experiences I got into a chopper in Vegas, and it was a machine gun on there. It was attached to the chopper, and we're just flying around shooting into the mountains and into our targets. Wow. And
That's an experience.
that's really cool. And then this month I'm still trying to finalize it. I'm gonna go to Texas, and they have you could rent a chopper and you could go hunting for hogs.
Is that the thing that video they're like shooting the hog because they're invasive? I guess they're like
Yeah,
everywhere?
they're super invasive and like destroy stuff. Whatever the reason is, it's like a good thing.
Yeah.
That's why like they offer for people to do it. So that's the next thing I want to try. I just love that kind of adrenaline
I
stuff.
feel you on guns. I like guns too. I actually got a gun though for the first time because I went through a really sketchy situation in Santa Monica when those riots happened. When the whole George Floyd thing happened.
Yeah.
All these stores. I was on 16th and Broadway in Santa Monica, and just groves of people were just looting everything, and no one was doing anything.
That's when I bought my first gun. Is during that time too.
Yeah, and it's like, I definitely am not the type to like want to use my gun at all, but I did feel genuinely like very unsafe at that time because I remember this car pulled up to my apartment, and I was FaceTiming my friend showing him this because there was a 7-Eleven next to me, and I was just like, this is crazy, like being naive. And this guy looks at me, points at me. There's like 4 dudes in the car and says, that motherfucker's recording us. Let's go in and get his ass. And they get out of the car, and I just shit my brains. I'm like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
I wasn't even recording them, but now it looks bad. I had my girl roommate, Jess, in the building at the time. I'm like, what am I going to do right now if these guys kick down this door? I am defenseless.
Yep.
And that fear was enough for me to want to get a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
And then an AR,
Yeah.
But I think it's the idea of shooting and going out in the mountains is really peaceful. I have a good friend, Mario Cicchetti. He organizes this thing called the gin. His thing is Gin Drinkers Anonymous, and the idea is that you go out into the woods, like deep in Wisconsin, and you just go out and hike, bring the cars out there, you camp, shoot targets. And you kind of get that Westerner feeling because for so long, we just used to roll around on horses with a gun, like My Rifle, My Pony, and Me by Dean Martin.
Or just getting yourself dinner, right? Just like hunting for your own food. I think that's cool. I've never been hunting yet, so I think going out in Texas shooting some hogs. I think that's gonna be my first time.
You ever do free diving?
No, I have not. Never really got into diving.
Stoked in it? I think you would be obsessed with spearfishing.
Yeah.
It's the most wild adrenaline rush.
I've been told that. I'm just right now I'm trying to get better at snowboarding. That's like my passion right now.
Yeah.
I love snowboarding, wakeboarding. But of course I had that ACL surgery a few months ago.
How'd you tear it again?
I was in Park City, Utah. I was doing the terrain park. I was doing jumps, and I was doing jumps that are way out of my league, and that happened. That's just me though. I like
Did you
to push
know it
myself.
tore the second it hit? Were you like, uh-oh?
Nope. I thought it was a sprain. I snowboarded down after that. I got some food, went all the way back up in the mountain, because I had to go get the car. The car was on the other side of the mountain, so snowboarded all the way down. Didn't snowboard the next day. I was like, yeah, it's really swollen. But got to the doctor, got a MRI, and they said, yeah, you don't have an ACL anymore. I'm like, damn, that sucks.
Damn.
And I didn't know how bad it was. They're like, oh, it's a tear. Cool. Like, it'll heal, right? Like, well, we have to do surgery. We have to rebuild it. And it's like a year to recover. I'm like, a year?
But you're back up and moving in like 7 months.
Yeah, I just can't, like, play sports. I can't go snowboarding yet. Haven't ran yet. But I can, I do squats. I start doing jumps again. So I'm getting back there.
Well, one thing that this is going to do is, and whenever we have crazy health setbacks, is it forces us to level up our health game.
Yeah.
You know, for me, a lot,
Absolutely.
like I've had gut issues a long time, and now I'm very peculiar about what I eat, what I put in my body. Like I'm way more of sort of a biocentric, health-centric person.
The past month, that's where I've been focused on as well. Ever since I got my blood work, they told me like what kind of foods I should be eating more of or less of. It's really interesting how like your body works and reacts to different things. Like some people can't eat watermelon or spinach, right? Like for me, avocados aren't good, which is crazy because everyone's like avocados are amazing.
Right.
To me, they're not the best. Not that I'm allergic to them or anything, but like if I don't eat them, it would be better.
Right. But you feel shitty if you eat them.
No, not at all.
No.
It's just like
The
for
blood
the
work
gut,
said that you shouldn't
for the
have
gut. There's like your different enzymes. I don't honestly. I can't.
Basically, there
understand.
was some certain enzyme that avocado was in that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but it's interesting because like with your leg now though, you look at the world differently, and because you have this injury, you'll now put yourself in a position hopefully where you probably won't have any more injuries. Actually, that's not true. You're about to go right back on the mountain.
I'm definitely going back out. Honestly, it's kind of scaring me because like, you know, once you realize like once you start making a little bit of money, you realize what's actually available for your health. It's insane. Like I got stem cell injections in my back actually a month before I had the knee operation, and I took ibuprofen 6 pills a day for 8 years straight. And that's what kind of like destroyed my gut a little bit.
Wait, in your back?
Yeah, I had 3 herniated discs.
How big?
Not big enough to get surgery,
But
but
it was
pain enough to where I would cry at night if I didn't take pills.
shit, bro.
So 8 years straight of ibuprofen.
You didn't take like gabapentin or any of that stuff? It wasn't sciatica?
There was sciatica.
It was sciatica.
Gabapentin didn't really help me. Isn't that for your heart though?
Gabapentin's supposed to... I also had really, really bad sciatica for 2 years, and also had bulging discs. Not quite herniated, but I know that feeling of just not
so
being
I
able
would
to
just
sleep.
have pain going through my leg all day.
That's terrible, bro.
And yeah,
I didn't know that.
So that was I was in pain for 8 years straight. I got stem cells, the right ones, because I've gotten stem cells before. I've spent a few $100,000 on different procedures on my back throughout life, but these injections 6 months later, I've been off of pain pills for a month now. Wow, insane. Like I don't take any pain medications anymore. Dude. It's crazy. And then like my knee, I got stem cell injections there. I'm about to have BPC 157, the peptide that should arrive within the next
Where
week.
do you do that? Is that like Mexico?
No, all here in Miami.
Because I know a lot of people used to go out of Panama. Panama's
Panama's famous for that. And only difference, so I asked the doctors, I'm like, so like what makes some stem cells illegal and some not? The only difference, the ones you get in Panama or in different Latin countries or in Europe, is those stem cells are allowed to be reproduced and replicate. So each injection is, instead of 2 million stem cells, it's like 7 million.
Yeah.
Whereas in the United States, they're not allowed to be reproduced. So it's only like 2 million cells in an injection. And the only reason they're really illegal is because, and it's never happened before, but there's a chance that it could give you cancer if you allow them to replicate.
Gotcha.
But it's never happened before.
Well, it's interesting to how much cheaper healthcare is in foreign countries as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I have this friend who was in Colombia learning to paraglide, and paragliding is when you essentially take off with an umbrella, like a parachute, and then you land in the same spot you took off. So you have to be in like a windy area, but it's like the closest thing to flying, not like gliding. It's so cool. And he was on his 50th solo flight, and he caught a downwind, came crashing down, and his like spinal cord was severed. He was fucked. And they rushed him to the hospital. They had to do like a emergency procedure to meld his spine back. And he remembered being there, and they were like talking in Spanish. He didn't know Spanish. So he was just like, you had to sign his life away to these people. They did the procedure, and he's like 99.9% good. Wow. And the whole thing cost like $12,000.
Insane. Yeah. I mean, it's a big business in the United States. It's big pharma is massive here.
Massive.
It's kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, you can also, like, other countries will have free healthcare, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, in the United States, everything's about opportunity, right? You can beat anyone. You could come from any background, and you can make the money to afford anything you want. You have that opportunity. Whereas you go try to start a company in Europe, you can't. You can't just be 18 years old going to start a company. They won't let you. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things you have to go through just to be able to open a company in a different country.
Interesting.
Whereas here, I don't think you even have to be 18. You could just form an LLC.
Well, you really have like the American dream, right? Come to America, build a business, take care of your family.
It's crazy because like when I got my Lambo, the sales manager, I was talking to him. He's like, dude, like you're the definition of an American dream. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's cool because literally anything you work towards, you can have.
So let's talk a little bit about your business specifically.
Yeah.
You know, I've met different people throughout the world that have done some sort of like Amazon e-com or drop shipping. I know you guys don't do drop shipping, but talk to me a little bit about the fundamentals of what exactly Anopoly does.
Well, now at this stage, Anopoly, there's multiple Anopoly companies. It's all spread out. So the whole concept of it though is we buy low and we sell high. It's the oldest business model in the book. So my distribution company goes out and gets brand relations. So it reaches out to brands, builds relationships from them. We get and then we buy massive orders from those brands. So we do research, obviously, figure out what's moving on Amazon, on Walmart, those types of platforms. Once we have that data, we reach out to those brands and negotiate deals, build a relationship with them, see where they need help. Also, it's not just about buying products; it's also making sure the brand's gonna last and is gonna grow, right? I don't go out to like Tide or any big brand name and try to buy their stuff.
What are some of like the problems that you find with them that, like you said, it's not just as simple as I'm gonna go buy them, but they might need help too? Like, what are some of those things
like
they need help with?
Most of the time, they don't even know they need help. It's just I know how to scale brands at this point, so I know what steps needs to be taken. And it's like, brands are good at making their product. That's what they're good at. They don't necessarily know how to market, how to advertise, and how to get it in front of more people, or how to use a platform like Amazon. Amazon it's a website that you sell products to, but there's a whole back end to it. You just think about it. Every time you type in a word into Amazon, it's a search engine. How do you optimize that for your product to show up instead of someone else's product when someone's searching for something specific?
Right. And people are only going to look at the first page.
Yeah. And it's in the back end behind the listings. There's so much work, and it's like, why should a brand even know how to do that? No one would know how to do that. So I come in, and so when I buy, I also want to make sure we can buy and make sales, but I want to make sure we can keep getting larger and larger orders so I can scale, because I'm onboarding more clients and we're going to have more money to spend. So I want to make sure the brand grows and the sale grow as well. So that's what my distribution company does. And my automation company handles all the clients, takes care of their store, customer support, dealing with Amazon, all that kind of stuff. And then also now the Anopoly Fast and Forward, which is the prep center company. So obviously all of them work together.
Yeah.
So distribution company gets access to the products. The automation company helps the clients get access to those products, buy the products, and then sell them through Amazon or Walmart. And then of course, before we send the products to Amazon, we have to do a quality check and then label it so where Amazon and or Walmart can read the labels, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of moving parts into it, but I handle every aspect of it to where a person comes in and instead of buying, for instance, if you have $500,000 and you go put that, I mean, you're in Miami, you probably get like a shack for $500,000 right now,
Yeah.
right? But even if you go to like Texas or Tennessee, whatever, $500,000, you're looking at what, 12%, 15%. If you're a mogul, maybe 20% a year on your cash on cash return, right? Our lowest stores. Now, of course, I can't guarantee any returns or anything. Like, I mean, the bank can't even guarantee you more than $250,000 in your savings account. But like our lowest performing stores are in the high 20% annually. Like, that's pretty insane. I mean, that explains why Jeff Bezos is so rich, right? We're not doing anything extraordinary. We're just buying products that are low cost because we have so much purchasing power, and we negotiate with the brands and we push the products through Amazon and Walmart.
It's so interesting that you mentioned that there's a lot of companies out there that build great products. They just don't know the marketing and back end.
Yeah.
So someone like you comes and says, wow, almost like an angel investor, if you would, and says, wow, this is an amazing product. We know that this would do very well here.
Well, like, so we don't go after like startup, like as in like they never made any sales, but if they have traction, they qualify for us to look at them. So that typically at least $1 million a year. And then from there, it's like, okay, we could take this at 10, 12, $15 million.
So you require the brands to like disclose financials to really get in there and understand.
We already see it. We just see what's moving through the online marketplaces.
Got it.
We're only selling stuff that's already selling. It's
Right.
just when we step in, it's much different. Because like a lot of people ask, like, "Oh, Vlad, I want to build my own." I'm like, at this point, it's not too late. It's never too late for anybody. If you want to do it, I'd say do it. But like, you're gonna go compete against me, and I'm bringing on clients that have hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy inventory. So the deals I structure with the brand, it's like, why would a brand sell to you when you're only gonna put 10, 50K into their brand, where I'm putting in a few $100,000 just for the first order, right? And then I'm also gonna help them grow too, because I'm investing in their products. My clients are. I want to make sure it's secure, protected. No one can fuck up the brand, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things that we do to make sure the brand doesn't go away as well.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that there's like 5 different companies, right, that Anopoly is. There's many different layers and dimensions to it. But you also mentioned that a lot of people are lazy and a lot of people just don't work and put it together. And you saw this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
With each of these different companies, was it like a learning process for each one and figuring out how that,
No,
like you started with
MLM.
one and then it.
Remember MLM? You recruit. I'm very good at recruiting. So when I'm not the smartest guy in the room by any means. I'm just very good at figuring out, hey, I'm not good at this. Who can I find that's going to be good at this? That's all I do. And of course, yeah, I got to sort through people and all that kind of stuff. But I'm also very good at painting the picture for people and because like, what's the difference between a leader and a follower? Do you know?
Explain.
So a follower needs a place to go and a leader knows where they're going. Simple as that. So I just show people where I'm going. And if the people want to go to the top, then they'll go with me.
Right.
So I always know where I'm going. So like when I recruit people that know what they're doing in that specific area.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because you mentioned that you've been burned a lot in life and you've gone through a lot of ups and downs and heartaches and headaches and all the above and all the shittiness that has to do with being an entrepreneur. What have some of those been the lessons you've learned when it comes to bringing on good people to work with?
Well, honestly, it's just reading people. I can't say like you can't trust this person or you can't have a partner just because I had a bad experience. It's you got to get better at reading people, understanding people's motives. I think that's the number one thing, because no matter what's a company is just people, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you know how to read people and figure out where people want to go, and that's why, like all the top leaders in all my companies in different fields, I know all their goals.
Yeah.
I know exactly how much they want to make. I know exactly what they want to buy with that money. I know if they want a family or if they want to travel. I know all of that from all my top leaders.
So almost as part of the onboarding, you make sure that they have a clear vision of where they're going.
No, I just want to know where I need to take them. I don't care if they want to be on the same level as me, because most people don't want to level up most people don't want to grow. They want to get to a certain point and that's their happy point. Because if everybody wanted to be rich, everyone would be rich.
Right.
Like, so you got to figure out
which makes a lot of sense, because people just stop when they hit a certain point.
Right. Absolutely.
And we talked about that back in MLM. When you hit a certain rank, you just give up or you stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So you figure out that's the number one thing. Like, I want to figure out where everyone wants to go, and I'll create a game plan to help them get there. And then figure out their motives. Because look, if everybody wanted to take care of their mother, they would. And it sounds good to say that, but why do most people don't do it? Just because that's not really what they want. Everyone says they want a family or maybe even get married. Then why doesn't everyone do that? It's not what they want. It just sounds good. Most people lie to themselves about their own goals because it sounds good to say. Yeah. So it's really reading people, because I should have known the people that would have screwed me over. Honestly, now I know how to retrace it, look back. It's like, oh, here's the red flags.
Right.
Now I know moving forward, it's like, all right, how do I one, get better at seeing the red flags, and two, how do I make sure that there's a safeguard?
It's fun to look at red flags and think about, like, when you do find red flags, you can just almost see red flags in people, and especially in dating is big. That's one of the hardest places.
Yeah.
But it's interesting in business, like being able to see, like, one thing I found fascinating about being in the tech world and I worked with this facial recognition company. I was the first employee. We ended up building it to about 35, 40 people and had an acquisition. And that was like my first like solid win in my life. It was awesome. But I learned a lot about like a lot of people are just kind of figuring it out as they go. A lot of these people, they don't really have everything. They don't really know exactly what they're doing. A lot of people are just figuring it out as they go.
Everyone is. I'm like that too. I'm learning every single day. And the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know.
And it's amazing because someone might act very confident, but you don't know shit about what's happening behind that confidence, right?
Exactly. But that's the beauty. That's how. Like, I remember when I first got into my industry, and really any industry, I would look at people and like, they're not any different than I am. And the crazy thing is, I remember when I was younger, and we were like, when I turned, because I would look at my uncle, who was like 20 years old at that time. I'm like, wow, he really has life figured out. So like, he has girlfriends, he has a job, he's doing this and that. I remember hitting 20, I'm like, bro, I don't know what the fuck is going on. You got to realize people in their 50s are still like that. I'll be driving around my car and people in their faces are like, oh my God, this young kid has this and that, whatever. I'm like, nobody knows at any point in their life, nobody knows what's actually going on. We're all guessing. We're all trying to we're just trying to like survive at the end of the day, right? Yeah. Everyone's just trying to survive. Everyone's in the same position. We're all equal. We're all created equal. No, yes, we're born with different advances and whatever, but our mind works the same way. Every single one of us has the opportunity as long as we are able to accept the opportunity.
Yeah, it's interesting when you think about baseball, how like the best baseball players, and you always see motivational speakers talk about this one. They love it. It's like the best baseball player of all time only hits the ball 3 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Meaning he misses 7 out of 10 times. Yeah. And that rejection muscle is probably one of the most important things people need to understand.
Absolutely.
Like rejection is part of the process. It's feeling that, it's going to say hi to someone and not getting what you want and trying again. It's knocking on the door. That's why I think door-to-door sales is like, besides MLM, I think door-to-door sales is the best life teacher you can ever have in your life.
Yeah, because you got to be right on your feet. I did door-to-door life and annuity sales.
Yep. I think that turns you into a sales barbarian.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've had guns pulled on me and everything. It's fun, man. I only did it for maybe like 6-8 months, and I couldn't take it anymore.
What's also funny about being an adult is once you like get a home, you realize how many people that have homes that have never left their home in like 30 years.
Yeah.
There's so many people that just don't like leave their spot.
Yeah.
They like sit in one spot and then just live there for 40 years and die.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to, and as you get older too, you get more chill. You get more like in your comfort zone. Like me and Sky talk about it a lot. Like it's nice having a routine. Part of me really wants to go and move to Portugal for the summer. But then again, I'm also like, I really like going to UFC gym. Like it's really nice,
Yeah. Yeah.
But to do cool shit, you have to be down with constantly just being uncomfortable and rolling the dice. Smart, but those tend to be some of our best experiences ever. Like
absolutely,
like you getting into this business, because again, I've known a lot of people that done it and they don't exist anymore, and you have. So let's talk about like what are the biggest mistakes people in your space have done, where you've ended up king of the hill.
They don't invest into their business. It's so simple. Like invest into your business. Like I didn't buy anything nice for myself. I bought everything for my business first. Always, I invest into my people a lot. My employees get triple the average pay. The amount of money I spend on mentorship, not just for myself. I don't care about myself. It's for the company, for the employees. Like everyone that's doing anything good with Amazon is in some way of a form on my payroll. I just simply invest into the business. And also when things get tough, just figure it out. That's it. And again, you got to have the mindset to win. Because everyone I know also that wasn't involved in this before, they're all gone. And right now, currently, they're dropping like flies. Because they don't have an infrastructure built out. And they don't have any safety protocols built out. And yeah, everyone makes mistakes. But you got to go through it.
That's cool that you talk about investing in people, because it's the people that build the business.
Right.
Companies are just comprised of people. And when people want to work, they freaking work.
Yeah.
When people are forced to work, they don't really work.
I mean, dude, it's really expensive. Like my baseline, I think, without me investing to the business or anything, it's I have to spend over 100,000 a month. It's like 120, 130 at this point. That's just like for me to just like survive.
Payrolls, moving everything.
It's insane.
Operational structure.
And that's just without investing in anything new or adding anything, right? And we're continuously adding new offices, new training programs, new mentors.
And every one of those is potentially in a thing that you can be successful at, or can be a detriment to you. Like you spend too much on an office and there's all these costs. Like there's a lot of factors.
Dude, like I have people that pay $100,000 a year just to be able to send them a text. Not a phone call, a text. It's like things like that, right? It's just like, yeah, people pay me $100,000 to build them a business, but like I pay some people just to be able to like text them like, hey, I have a problem.
Yeah.
And they're like, here's an article, or like, here, do this, whatever. Like, right. Those are the things that like that's why I just heavily invest into the business. It's kind of like there's nothing else that really matters. I don't care about nice clothes. I don't care about jewelry. I don't care about any of that kind of stuff. I love vacations. I'll spend money on a vacation. But other than that,
It's your baby, though.
Yeah,
you know?
it's my baby. Exactly.
It's your baby.
I treat it as a living, breathing thing. I see my employees every single day. I see my client chats every single day, and it motivates me to make it even better.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the lead. That's the Vlad from freaking Ukraine, man.
Yeah.
Stepping in hot, coming in here at 8 years old.
My pitch in MLM was, I was like, I came to the United States 8 years old with a suitcase full of clothes that didn't even fit me right. And I actually have a picture on my Instagram of like that.
When was the OG Vladdy Daddy reveal?
Man, I think it's when I bought a yacht. That's when people started calling me Vladdy Daddy.
Do you like that name?
I mean,
Or
honestly,
just
it's
stuck?
fun. It's fun. I love it.
It's fun.
Because all my coaches, like my boxing coach, my football coach, would always call me Vladdy. And then girls would call me Daddy. And then somehow it all like came together and it's like Vladdy Daddy. And I used to hate being called Vladdy. And I'm like, yeah, Vladdy's cool.
I mean, that's like a really good viral type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like Sugar Sean O'Malley, Vladdy Daddy. Like it's there.
Yeah. Ever since I got the yacht, it kind of like more and more people started calling me that, and it just kind of caught on.
Yeah. Yeah, Miami's a cool place, man, because there's so much unique cultures and people here. I was living in Santa Monica, and then when the COVID hit, I immediately bounced and moved to Miami. That was almost 4 years ago, and it's been such a great decision. I really see this place as like a long-term U.S. home base. I could potentially see myself leaving the country and like going to Portugal or something, but for the U.S., Miami's dope. What do you think about Miami?
I think it's just one of the greatest spots in the world. And here's the thing with me with living, I can't really like, because I've lived in so many different places around the world. Like I don't really have a home base. I don't consider anything a home base. I definitely, in the near future, I want Miami to be one of my home bases. But honestly, I want to have spots everywhere. Miami's cool, like throughout the winter, right? And that more people come here on vacation. It's not as hot, but like you don't want to be here during the summer. It's miserable.
It's brutal.
So I love San Diego.
San Diego's the second. If there's one other city in America that captured my heart, it's San Diego.
Yeah, that's my second favorite city in the United States. And then of course like Colombia. I love the Philippines.
I lived in Medellin for 6 months.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Back in 2015.
It's
before it was cool.
The cultures, right? Like also like let's get on a topic of like relationships of women, right? Like, you know, I feel like women in United States they're slowly getting ruined. It's depending on the preference, of course.
Right.
But, you know, I like a woman that knows how to take care of a man, right? And when you go to, like, Philippines, you go to certain parts of Europe, you go to Latin America, you get a lot of that. You get a lot of that appreciation.
Nurturing.
Yeah, nurturing.
Well, it's interesting because in the U.S., like, a lot of people, when they get old, they put their parents in nursing homes.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, the norm, right? But in a lot of these, like, Spanish and Latin type of countries, it's, like, in, like, India, you know, grandpa's chilling there at 99.
Oh, that's majority of the world.
That's how it works.
Like that,
you know?
I literally live with my grandparents, and like the only time you move out of your parents' house, and like where I'm from, is if you're getting married and you're just moving to the other person's parents' house. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Like families always live together. Here, it's a concept of you gotta leave, you'll be by yourself, and nobody even has a good reason to leave. Like I hear a lot of entrepreneurs say, you have to leave your hometown. You have to do this. You have to do that. Like I started making $100,000 a month before living up with my mom. Like I bought her the house, but like I never had to leave my hometown. I didn't rely on my friends or family to dictate my success because nobody understood what I was doing. No, everyone thought I was crazy, but I didn't give a shit. I still did it, living in my hometown, going to the shitty gym, not seeing anything cool, not doing anything fun, not having anyone successful around me. I was just like, all right, I would watch YouTube. That's how I saw successful people, is through YouTube.
Yeah, it's interesting with American stuff in relationships because it goes on both ways. Like guys are definitely messed up just as much as girls from that scenario.
Of course.
I mean, the reality is that we live in a place where we're constantly just embossed in this, adrenaline and dopamine when looking at social media, and everyone compares their highlight reels to everyone else's, but everyone pees and poops and goes through crazy shit, but no one ever shares that. And we're always just thinking the grass is greener on the other side. I think that's the biggest difference in vibe I feel from like maybe other cultures, is I think it's just more steady and going versus like in this culture, it's work, level up, options. And when you have so many options, like how do you pick?
You're stuck basically because you can't. It's like you have too many of one thing in front of you. You simply can't grab one thing. That's how it works.
Yeah, or it's just like deep down in like my super white gringo DNA, I just want to like find myself with some Spanish chick deep down in Peru, like hunting in the jungles in the Amazon.
It is interesting because like from what I've noticed, Spanish girls do like white guys, and white guys typically go after Spanish girls. It's weird. It's like I meet a lot of Cubans, and like Cubans love Russians love Cubans. I'm like, oh. And it's kind of mixed together in there now, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, relationships are big because the person that you choose to be in a relationship with is who you're going to spend so much of your time and energy with.
Yeah.
And it's the single biggest decision in your life. If you do decide to get married, like this thought process can also overanalyze and might be the reason of everything I'm just talking about, the culmination.
No, what's your thought process on marriage? Are you going to ever get married?
I believe in monogamy. I believe in being with one person. I do not believe in signing the papers.
Yeah.
But I also have not met a girl because I don't think marriage is like, I don't see marriage as being a smart decision, but love isn't smart. Love is reckless. Love is exciting. Love is fuck it. We're doing it. Me and you, baby, Bonnie and Clyde. I haven't met a chick or like had a bond that I've just felt that is a no-brainer yet. Where it's like, you know what, I'm going all in with you. Because the reality is I think marriage can work really well. If you have the person lined up with the right values, they love their family, they're caring, then by all means, like I'm all about providing. Like I don't even want the girl like I married to work if she doesn't have to. Like I like the idea of like the stay-at-home mom, the vibe, right? But at the same time, the contract of marriage, like 50% of them are going to blow up. So it's like just strategically, like if you don't sign that paperwork, at least you don't get thrown into those odds. But you could also say that about entrepreneurship. 9 out of 10 businesses fail. So why start a business?
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on marriage?
It's definitely like the contract. I don't agree with that at all. Like if I was to ever find a person that would want to spend the rest of my life with, I would do it, but I wouldn't want to sign a contract for it. I'd have a wedding and stuff like that.
Weddings are tight. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like sign contracts or anything. And yeah, I also believe it really depends on the person's development and what stage they are in their life. It's like, for me, I don't want to be married right now because marriage would give me restrictions. I would have to answer to somebody when I'm traveling for business or for fun or whatever, right? Just because, like for instance, I saw this on a TikTok or maybe on YouTube. It's like a lot of guys. All right, well, all guys, up until like we're 30, we almost have no value, right? Because it doesn't matter how we look, like nobody really cares. We have to build everything up, right? We have to create some type of value because no one's gonna pay us for looking beautiful or pretty or handsome, right? We have to gain skills, and once we gain those skills, like okay, now we can go actually and get a table at a club. We can go get a first class flight to Europe and eat the best food and have parties, all that kind of stuff. Whereas You know, a girl turns 18 if she looks sort of decent, puts some makeup on, she's getting flown out to Europe, flown out to the rest of the world, and having the best time of her life, right?
Right.
So it depends on the stage of your life.
Men peak late.
Yeah, we
you know?
peak, like we don't have that opportunity.
It's like
We have to build it
35s,
up.
or so, I think, is considered like the peak of a man, but really a man peaks throughout his whole life.
Yeah,
But I mean, you could say that about other things, but that is a case of common culture, is that women do get on the yacht at 18
Yeah.
versus a guy has to own the yacht or have a friend with a yacht. To get
yeah,
on the
exactly.
yacht.
Yeah. So like it depends on the stage of life, and because like I partied when I was 16 through I want to say like 20, 21 maybe. And then I completely stopped going out, completely stopped doing everything from like 21 to probably was like 27 when I got a yacht. Then I started partying again. So it was a good like 6 years or something like that of just straight grind, not doing anything, nothing fun, like other than like maybe go out to dinner with some friends. So that was like, okay, I put my head down, I worked, I built, and I'm still building while I'm doing this, but now it's the point I'm like, okay, I can go out and enjoy myself. I can go to get a table at a club. It's not going to kill me. Like spending, 10 grand on a table, it's not going to do anything.
Sounds pretty,
right?
That sounds fun.
Yeah, like those types of things, it's like that's what I worked for. I wanted to have the freedom to be able to
Right.
do that. And it's cool because like, yeah, I didn't go to college parties. I didn't go, I wasn't in a frat. I didn't get to experience all that kind of stuff, but now it's like, all right, partying is way cooler when you have money. Way cooler. The shit that you can do is insane.
That sounds like like right out of the Wolf of Wall Street, that quote.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting about the marriage thing is social pressures, because I think a lot of people, if you look at marriage as a contract, you think it's a crazy contract. But it's really tough on women if you're not married, because every one of their friends is telling them, "Why aren't you married? Why aren't you married? Why aren't you married?
That
Why
is
aren't you
true.
married?" It's hard for women to be
Mhm.
with a guy long term and not be married, just
Yeah.
simply for the social pressure.
Yeah. And like, I mean, you brought that up. Like, you would want your woman not to have to work, right? Like, I mean, my ex previously, she didn't have to work at all. She actually got rid of her job. Provided. I'm a provider. I love to take care of people around me. Like, I take care of my mother. I take care of the woman in my life. Like, I'll always do that. And honestly, like, even if something doesn't work out, I am still there. Like, I'm still there to help no matter what. Like, I don't like to break off anything completely and just get rid of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's like exes. I hate if I don't have a good relationship with an ex.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, well, why not? You spent so much time with them.
Right.
Why would you have a bad?
But I think a lot of it comes down to like emotional maturity at the time of doing it too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I feel I'm matured deeply, like over than who I was 4 years ago, like deeply as a person.
Mm.
It's like sometimes when I think about who I was at like in college, I'm like disgusted, you know. At the time, you're like, great.
Yeah, I mean, dude, in college, you're still learning how to wipe your own ass. Like,
100%.
It is what it is. Yeah.
But every like 3 years, we like shed our skin and become someone new.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, depends how hard you work on yourself as well. Because, most people, they kind of stop learning once they get out of college, right? Like,
True.
most people just kind of like, all right, I know what I know. I'm going to get my job and do whatever I want to do. Like, every day I'm trying to put myself in a situation where I'm learning something new, whether it's about exercise or
Yeah.
about business or simply just meeting people and getting to know different people.
Yeah, like one thing I find I struggle with is just doing nothing. Like if I'm not working or grinding on cigars or like building the business and making calls and building relationships, I'm in some rabbit hole learning about some plant that I'm trying to plant in the front yard. Like what's going on with that thing? Like how do you
Yeah.
take care of it? Or how do you landscape? Or how do you do this? There's so many fun rabbit holes to go down that I think that one of the biggest life hacks is curiosity. If
Yeah.
you're curious about something, you'll find the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I had to actually another thing for those that are going to be listening about, I said put your head down and grind, and it was like 6 years of me just not having fun. I had to retrain myself how to have fun again. I had to retrain myself, hey, it's okay for me to go out. It's okay for me to like take the boat out or have a party or anything. Cuz I would get super guilty about that. But
Really?
then, yeah, it's like, all right, well, I'm not working, so I'm useless. But no,
Yeah.
it's like that's not how your life is, and it's crazy because like it became like a disease almost. Like I'd be scared to have fun. Now the more fun I have, honestly, the more business I get because people love to have fun. They want to be around people that are having fun.
Totally.
You gotta do badass shit if you want badass things in your life.
That is very true, especially if you want to attract those types of people too that are going to vibe with you.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Some of the best things in life are the simplest things in life, right?
Of course.
Like you talk about the $10,000 table, like that is epic and that's a lot of fun and you've earned the right to do that. But at the same time, there's just, it's priceless to just go on like a hike with your boys or just go paddleboarding or just zen out, you know?
Yeah, or just like turn on the Xbox and just
just
play
game out, play some old school,
yeah.
like some Reach. Let's go.
Yeah, there's a balance to everything, right? Like, you know, getting tables gets boring, bro. Like,
Right.
I'll go a month of like every week and just get a table, and now I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this shit again. And then like 6 months later, like, all right, let's do that again. You know what I mean? Like
turn that engine back on.
Yeah. It's like phases in life. So like then I'll go travel for a whole entire month, and then I'm like, damn, I miss Miami. And like I'll be in Miami for 2 months.
But it's good you travel because then you miss Miami. Like me and Sky were just talking about this. Like it's just so good to get out of the house. You know, you gotta like go out and you don't even in a relationship. I feel like you know not you don't get out of the relationship, but I think it's good to spend time away from one another.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't imagine being with someone 24/7. Like how does that? I can't hang out with my parents like that. You know, or my dad.
Yeah.
I miss my dad, but
you got to put yourself in new environments and new experiences to constantly, and that's how you grow too. If you're constantly in the same spot, like it literally limits your mind. That's why every couple of years I always move because I want a different environment, even if it's just a building across the street. Like it's gonna be a different environment. Your brain's gonna work differently.
Totally, that's so true.
You want to give yourself all the advances you can, or all the opportunities you can to grow.
Yeah.
And I think traveling, putting yourself in new environments, like I have multiple gym memberships. I go to different gyms. So someday in the morning I'll go to one gym, at night to do cardio I'll go to a different gym. Or I'll just go to a completely different gym for the whole entire day.
I like that. I like the changing up.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good for the soul to have different experiences.
One, you more experience, more opportunities to meet different people, or simply just like you'll start thinking differently just because you're in a different room.
That's why I like doing the podcast, because it's like I can get such different types of people on, and it keeps me sharp, keeps me thinking differently. Like just you speaking, like I've already just learned so much from you in this conversation that I didn't know about you, and like the philosophies that if you do this consistently over many years of different like high performers and individuals, they wear off on you. And you like take a piece of everything, and it just makes you into a better person. Because it's like a lot of these people when they get older, when you look at guys in their 40s, 50s, like they don't give a shit about like their follower count or how cool they are. Like they care more about like what they've built and like the people they're around. And I think like that's what I'm investing a lot of my time in, is making sure my circle's dialed. You know, like the people that I give my energy to and vice versa are just like good people that want to see me win, and I want to see them win. Because if you get people like that, you're unstoppable. Because I don't think this isn't a single person game. This is a team game. Like people operate better in tribes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, human beings are social creatures. Now everyone has different levels. Like I get drained when I'm around people constantly. I need to be by myself to recharge.
Yeah.
Whereas like my business partner, one of my business partners, he literally gains energy from being around people, right? So like, you got to figure out who you are for yourself, and figure out like you said, you take a piece from everybody and just construct yourself.
Right.
Take the best parts of everyone, see what works for you, and then do that.
Yeah. Here's a question: if you weren't in automation, what other industry would you go balls to the wall in?
Yeah, I mean everything freaking works. Everything works, and nothing doesn't. So like whatever the opportunity would be in front of me, like if I don't know. Actually, I had this question asked to me yesterday. It's crazy. If I know what I know now, I would do what I'm doing now. If I didn't know what I know now, whatever industry I would be in at that point, or that's presented to me or I learn about, that's what I would go into if I liked it. Like I have a bunch of friends that are crushing in the solar industry.
Crushing it.
Bunch of friends that are crushing it in software industry, right? And as long as you have the idea, you don't have to build the software, right? Like just have the idea. now I'm at a point like I got softwares being built in my company. There's a bunch of different things that we're building right now that like one will make the company 10 times more valuable, but two, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like the stuff that we're working on right now is insane. Like I never thought it'd be in distribution. Never thought it'd be like, I don't know how a warehouse operates, but I got a whole really successful warehouse
operation. Yeah, I see
operation.
you purchasing a bunch of warehouses.
Yeah, it's like dude, I don't even know what to ask when I'm buying a warehouse, right? Like the only thing I know is like I remember when I first started shopping. This was like a few, 2 years ago or something. The only question I could think of was like, hey, does this warehouse leak? I didn't know what to ask, and to this day, honestly, I still don't know what to ask. But like my partners or my employees, they know everything. They're setting up all the shelvings, getting forklifts and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know like what kind of shelves we needed. I'm like, right.
Finding people that are good at it and working with them.
Yeah.
Focusing on what you're good at, staying in your lane.
So it really doesn't matter. Like, I mean, whatever I would be introduced to at that point, and if I liked it, I would just go all into it. Like I just right now I can't imagine myself in anywhere else, but I can also at the same time, I know I would want to win wherever I'm at.
Totally. And there's different seasons, you know?
Yeah. Like I did decent in MLM. I did pretty damn good in car sales, pretty damn good in insurance. MLM, I don't know if I was like 800 or over 1,000 downline, whatever. Cool. My first month in car sales, I did I think like 15 or 17 cars, and my secret was I just told them it's my first day every day. So no one was under the impression I was trying to sell them. I'm like, hey, I'm not even allowed to sell you a car. It's my first day. I'm just here to like see what you know.
This is my first day.
I would just be selling cars like that. So like I just like doing. So I know whatever industry I would have went into. I just don't study industries right now because I'm just only focused.
Of course, yeah. It's just more of like I'm just curious because a lot of our listeners have their own companies. They're in their own startups, and there's so many different ways in businesses that you can win.
Everything freaking works right now, dude. Like it's gonna be a huge in-demand skill. Anything like trade related is gonna be insane. Like honestly, probably like getting into construction right now is insane. Woodwork, right? Like a lot of. I would go into anything that rich people want or need.
That's so good. That's a great answer.
Because you could dictate the price and you can make the service better.
Yeah, like you see that guy who makes those crazy tables out of like serpents and like crocs. Like Joe Rogan has one in his studio. I don't know if you've seen that guy. That thing is crazy. But you can market your art through Instagram now like never before. Yeah. You can be some girl that just takes a giant can of paint and just flashes it all over her body and then jumps on a canvas, and next thing you know some dude's paying 20 G's for that.
Yeah,
because you put some TikTok shit behind that.
Yeah, exactly. So any trade related business I think right now to get into, because most people are like, you see all these not millennials, Gen Z now, right? We're on Gen Z, the newest generation. They only know how to work a computer and a laptop, right? Or a phone. Like once they start making money, wanting to spend that money, someone needs to build them a house. Someone needs to design their house or make furniture or anything like that.
Right.
And I feel like none of them are going into like trade related work, and they're gonna need their toilets repaired and stuff like that.
And that's why I like talking with George Moros, because from Moros Construction, because it's like he came here and he didn't know anyone, didn't know anything, and like having 2 homes now and going through the process of understanding like how it works. There's so many things that are simple but complex when you have like 6 to 10 moving parts, but it's simple. And if you have the relationships, you can crush. Like if you're getting service at a good price, and you get it at a good price if you're giving good service and you're able to get people into good jobs, it's incredible. And I saw what he did with that, and it's really cool. Yeah. I like what you mentioned. The trades are interesting. Anywhere you water, you're going to grow. You just got to become the best at what you're doing. And that's what we're trying to do with like custom cigars. We want to become like the number one place where when someone thinks custom cigar, cigars.com. Like make it so easy, 3 easy steps. Go.
And you think about it, you can build a plumbing company and not know how to fix a toilet. You could build a healthcare company not having a doctor's license or anything. You could do all of it, even if you don't know how to do it. You just got to put the pieces together. Entrepreneurs like Henry Ford didn't design he's the first one that created the V6 engine. He didn't develop it. His engineers did.
Right.
Elon Musk isn't there perfecting the car or the spaceship, like he's putting the people together that are smart to work on that. And yes, he gives us, opinions and recommendations, but it's other people doing it. Entrepreneurs are simply about putting the pieces together and making sure it's a good working environment, and the person that knows where you're going, so people know where to go.
Vlad, every time we do a podcast, I always ask this one question because it's so interesting, and you kind of already hinted on it. And if you could go back in time and you could have talked to Vladdy Daddy at 16, knowing everything you know now, what is maybe something that you would have told young Vlad that could have saved you a ton of time, money, heartache, tears? And naturally, one of the best answers is I wouldn't have changed anything because it made me who I am today, or I would have invested in Bitcoin.
I told myself to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, for a second.
Skip all of that. Just make all the money and have
think
fun.
about it. Like, what would you have told that guy? Like, right, if you had a chance.
Sheesh. Consolidate everything into like a few hours or like a few sentences. I mean, other than like
he's running team doubles in Halo Reach, just like with the boys, smashing bagel bites.
I would say focus more on learning how to build relationships versus becoming really good at something priority wise. Because when I moved to the United States, I didn't understand language, I didn't understand the culture. I was very segregated for a long time, and I wasn't very good at like making friends. Like I didn't even talk to a girl until it was like sophomore year in high school. Like I just was scared to. So building relationships for me in the beginning was very difficult, and I never prioritized it. I would prioritize like schoolwork or something else versus relationships. I would basically emphasize building relationships more and stronger versus just like, for instance, getting really good at like homework or something like that. You know what I mean? Because that would have catapulted everything faster for me.
I love that.
Yeah,
it's the truth. Relationships change everything. One relationship can impact you in really good or really bad.
Yeah,
and learning how to navigate that and form powerful relationships. That's it.
Yeah, and honestly, just having more fun. Like, at the end of the day, we don't know when our last day is. Right? Nobody knows. You just want to have more fun in your life, because really, like, we're all working. We're all obviously our first instinct is survival. Yeah. But once we have everything we need to survive, we just gotta enjoy life, because nothing's that serious.
Amen. We need to have more fun. We need to hit the range together too.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's to having more fun, man. This has been so much fun. Like just getting to know you more. Like you're one of the most humble, down to earth dudes in Miami, and I'm so grateful that we connected through this path. Which I forgot. Oh, I met Caleb's girlfriend, Alexis.
Yeah, and then you came out to one of the penthouse parties.
And that's how I met you. And I'm so grateful that happened because, all you guys are so awesome. So this has been great, man. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing.
Yeah, this was fun. I appreciate you having me here.
The Damn Good Day Show featuring Vladdy Daddy. I could talk to you another 3 hours, but I know Sky's got shit to do.
How long has it been now?
I think it's been over probably like an hour 20.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, time flies, man.
Time flies. But, this is another damn good day, and we're making moves out here, people. I hope everyone enjoyed this. I appreciate you. How can everyone follow you on the Insta, on the social?
Yeah, Instagram is my full name, Vladislav Varizhuk, but just search Vladdy. I'm typically the first or like the third option.
There it is. Appreciate you, brother. Till next time.